Well, now let's check in with KRQE News 13 anchor Matt Mauro, who has this morning's news headlines. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Good morning, Nikki. Good morning, Kristen. And good morning to you at home. Quick check of our headlines. Now we start with an update on a big police SWAT situation that was overnight in the far northeast heights in Albuquerque. This is what it was like for most of the night near Copper and Tramway in the northeast part of the city. Police swarmed this area. They had a lot of major roads closed. Police say there was a man threatening suicide that caused all of this. Now, at one point, SWAT team showed up in full gear, guns drawn, you know the whole deal. Police are gone from that area right now. They have not said if they arrested the man or if he was taken to the hospital or if he had a gun or any kind of weapon on him. Well, Subhuman, a greedy lowlifes. Those words written to describe the people of Albuquerque in a blog, then a popular one. They were posted on the Eye on Albuquerque blog, and at first they were aimed at police officers, calling them worthless and needy. The writer claims to be an Albuquerque Police Union board member. The union vice president, Sean Willoughby, right here, says that he very much doubts that. All right, then the writer turns on the community at large, writing, quote, "The liberal, an R word I don't want to repeat, band of vengeful activists called Albuquerque makes me sick." Then the writer narrows his aim, calling people who march against the police department and sue the department, saying they are uneducated, subhuman animals. Now, mayoral candidate, who you just saw there, retired APD cop Paul Hay, was also called out for being a rat when he, quote, crossed the blue line and made a complaint against the union's former president, Joey Segala. Now, Mr. Hay is calling on APD's interim chief, Alan Banks, and the current union president, Stephanie Lopez, to investigate this.
Stephanie should look into it. If it turns out that it is a board member, that person should be immediately suspended from the board.
All right, Albuquerque's police department has no comment on that comment, nor did Mayor R.J. Berry or Pete Dinelli, who is also running for mayor in the election that's going to be in October. Well, the drunk driver who killed two of her passengers should find out how long she'll spend in prison this afternoon. Stephanie Mendez tested nearly 3 times the legal limit in March after her car went out of control on the Montano entrance to I-25. The car crashed into a minivan. 4 of the 5 people in Mendez's car were thrown out. 2 of them died. The woman and 2 children in the van, thank goodness, were okay. Mendez pled guilty back in May to 2 counts of vehicular homicide and 2 counts of causing great bodily harm. Well, some of New Mexico's Head Start programs will be saved despite federal budget cuts. More than 57,000 kids all across the country would have been cut from Head Start this fall because of the massive federal cuts. But U.S. Senator from New Mexico Tom Udall says he's helped get a $5.5 million grant for programs in Valencia, Socorro, Cibola, and McKinley counties. It's unclear yet if there will be any help for Head Start programs in other parts of the state, including Albuquerque. Voters in Rio Rancho have gone against a proposal which would have slashed that city's higher education tax in half. Unofficial results from the election last night, special election, show 40% for it, 60% against it. That tax supports UNM's West Campus. In the future, it could be used for a proposed new campus, a joint venture between UNM and CNM. City councilor told us that he would have put the funds toward the police and fire departments if the proposal had passed. Some people call this smarts against safety. About 10%, just 10% of registered voters showed up to the polls. That does it for your news this morning. For more news, weather, and traffic, get it each weekday starting at 4:30 on KRQE News 13. Ladies, just 10% of people in Rio Rancho went to the polls. That number is ridiculous. You can't complain about government if you don't go get out there and have your voice be heard.
Absolutely. That is the bottom line. And that's a lesson to be learned in everything. Whenever the public has an option to vote for anything, you know, don't complain if you're not going to participate in making the choices.
That's what our government's based off of.
Absolutely. That's the democracy we live in.